Happy Monday, and thank you so much for joining This Is The Day. My name is Sarah Otieno. We are live on Family Radio, where the music does the talking, and also live on Family TV, where we're keeping Jesus on the airwaves. Use the SMS line 20316, and also through the WhatsApp number 0786 316 316, and talk to us on Facebook and Twitter at Family Radio 316, as we get to know what is happening in our country and also across the globe. For now, let's get it started. Kenya has today recorded 195 more cases of COVID-19 in the last 24 hours, and that brings the total number of caseload to 45,075. In a statement to the media houses, the Health CS Mutahi Kagwe revealed that 1,852 samples have been tested in the last 24 hours, and totally accumulatively, that is, the samples so far that have been tested stand at 623,828. Now, for the cases, 176 are Kenyans and 19 are foreigners, while 137 are male and 58 are female. Sadly, the country recorded 7 more deaths in the last 24 hours, and up to now we have 839 fatalities of the COVID-19 pandemic. At the same time, 227 patients were discharged, bringing the total number of recoveries to 32,084. Well, when we look at the number of recoveries, there is still hope. 227 recovered today, but on the other side, on the flip side, 7 more people have succumbed to the virus in the last 24 hours, and now we have 839 people that have died because of COVID-19. Just going back to what the CS for Health Mutahi Kagwe said yesterday, that we might be experiencing a second wave of COVID-19, and this is because people are not taking into consideration the measures that have been put in place by the Ministry of Health. Well, having said this is where we get our question of the day today. Should we go back to lockdown? Do you think it's a good decision to have the country back in a lockdown because the cases of COVID-19 are increasing? Do you think we should go back to lockdown? That's what we are answering today. Send in your responses to 20316. That is on SMS. WhatsApp number 0786 316 316. Now, still in matters health, the health professionals in the country are worried over the surge of the COVID-19. They maintain that the laxity by many in observing the COVID-19 protocols has no doubt led the country to a second wave, and with the likelihood of the health system being overwhelmed. This comes after the rate of infection has increased to 12%, unlike initially when it was at 4%.
International Infection Prevention and Control Week, which is marked worldwide to raise the awareness about adherence to infection control precautions. Infection control goes a long way on preventing hospital-acquired infection together with the community-acquired infection. So the precautions which prevent transmission of infection will include hand hygiene. We are observing also many of the Kenyans are not wearing their mask. They've relaxed on keeping their social distance and also attending the crowded areas. What I would like to advise is that we should continue wearing our mask, keeping our social distance, and washing our hands. This is the only way we are going to flatten the curve and reduce the numbers to back where they were or even below. With the numbers increasing, the healthcare professionals are being advised again to continue preaching the gospel of infection control. This is what is going to cut the chain of infection. If we don't, then the infections are going to increase. Lessons learned from the COVID era is that hand hygiene has reduced most of the diarrheal diseases. The choleras we've been having, it has also reduced the respiratory diseases combined with wearing the mask. We are not seeing more patients coming with diarrheal diseases or outbreaks of cholera and others because of the heightened precautions of COVID-19. So this is a gain, and we should maintain it.
And now let's head over to Nakuru County, where the Nakuru Level 5 hospital has been suspended elective surgeries for the next 2 weeks as the COVID-19 cases, among other medics at the facility, continue to rise. Union officials claim that more than 20 health workers have contracted the virus, with the hospital now banning visitors to stem further infections of the facility, which also serves Kericho, Baringo, Nyandarua, Samburu, and the Narok counties. The nurses have decried of lack of PPEs as the country continues to fight the spread of COVID-19.
22 healthcare workers who are positive. They are only called and given drugs and advised to go home and stay home for quarantine. The contact tracing is not done. This is because patients with COVID stay in the ward for 5 days. They infect the healthcare workers. They interact with other healthcare workers, and contact tracing is not done. So those who have not turned positive, they are still working in the wards and being told to continue working until they are tested positive, yet they are contact traced. There is no proper training on the donning and doffing of PPEs, and therefore the staff, they continue infecting one another. We are requesting humbly that the administration and the health ministry to make sure that all patients who enter from the outpatient department to be tested. At some time we are told that there are no specimen bottles. Sometimes we are told there are no kits. So staff remained mentally tortured because they cannot be tested. So this is our humble request that our staff here should be taken care of. Our members here, is that true? Yes. Is that true? Yes. So we request that this should be taken care of.
Well, there we have the health workers complaining of lack of PPEs in the county and also across the country, hospitals and health facilities. And public health workers have given the government 7 days to ensure all officers who have stagnated in one job group for years are promoted based on an individual officer qualification. In a joint statement issued today, the workers said they will go on strike on October 29th if the government fails to act. The workers further demanded that promotions be affected based on years of stagnation.
There are those who have died as a result of COVID, and they have not even received condolences from the employee. I'm telling you for facts. But once we lose other cadres, it becomes the headline. It is very unfortunate. We are working with people. We are being supervised by people who are heartless, who have no feeling, because they think the work of the Ministry of Health is only COVID-19. They have forgotten all other issues like maternal health care, HIV. They are not aware of anything. They are chasing the Mandazi COVID-19 and the sausage COVID-19 and the Kemsa COVID-19.
But as from 29th, we will be out and we will not be attending to our fellow Kenyans, simply because we want the government to work as they're supposed to. And the Ministry of Health, Afya House, should emulate from the counties. We have our colleagues in the counties. They've been promoted, more job groups up to now. And when we keep on asking as to why this injustice is being done to us, we are not given an answer.
Oh, well, clearly a lot has to be done in the Ministry of Health and also the Health Department in general. Well, remember the question that we are asking and answering today is, do you think we should go back to a lockdown, considering the fact that the cases of COVID-19 are increasing in our country? Do you think we should go back to lockdown? Send in your responses through the WhatsApp number 0786 316 316, SMS line 20316. Thank you so much, Rosie from the Lakeside, for tuning in today. I also see someone here who is tuned in from Wisi, Rose Judah. Asante sana for tuning in today. Now, there's someone who says, and this is, I believe, Cheptab Selim. I hope I got your name right. And you're saying, hello, about the lockdown. It's really, really sad that the numbers are increasing than before. To be honest, people we no longer are cautious. We truly believe in God's protection, but the government failed us way before the numbers, you remember. And this time we are not boarding. Many lost their sources of income, yet these numbers were a lie. Let's pray for our government, and high time these leaders are punished by God. Thank you so much for tuning in today and for that response. I also see someone here. This is Sarah Naivasha, and they're saying, hello, maneno ya lockdown? No lockdown, no curfew. Our economy is suffering already. Well, send in your responses if you have not talked to us about it. We are asking, do you think we should go back to a lockdown or even the curfew hours now that the cases of COVID-19 are increasing in our country? Talk to me about that. Malindi Member of Parliament Aisha Jumwa will spend 3 more days in police custody pending a psychiatric examination before she pleads to a murder charge. Mombasa High Court Judge Njoki Mwangi ruled today that Jumwa and her co-accused Geoffrey Otieno, who is her aide, will remain in custody until they undergo the mental checks before they plead on the case on Thursday, and the duo will be remanded at the Mombasa Port Police Station and will undergo a psychiatric test at the Coastal General Hospital. Jumwa and her aide are accused of murder and assault charges over last year's shooting in Ganda Ward, where one person was left dead and several others were injured.
I therefore make the following orders. 1. The 2 accused persons shall be remanded at Port Police Station pending psychiatric examination and pre-bail assessment. 2. The probation officer is directed to undertake pre-bail assessment of each of the accused persons. 3. They shall be escorted to Coast Province General Hospital on 21st of October 2020 for psychiatric examination. 4. The 2 accused persons are at liberty to apply for refund of their cash bail from the Honorable Magistrate who issued the said orders. And 5. Plea taking will be on 22nd of October 2020.
Well, Embrace, this is a women lobby group in Kenya, has called on Building Bridges Initiative experts and the task force to ensure that the gain that women have made so far will not be scrapped off. Led by the Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru and the Senate Deputy Majority Leader Fatuma Dulo, the women leaders say women have been disappointed by the failure by Parliament to enact the 2/3 gender role bill for the last 10 years, and they hope the issue will be addressed in the BBI report, which is set to be released on Tuesday. Well, this is one of the expectations that the women are having when it comes to the BBI and what the government needs to do with them, especially when we talk about women and leadership. Remember, the 2/3 bill and has actually risen a lot of concerns from even the CJ himself, David Maraga, and also the LSK, which are fighting to make sure that the government and Parliament actually is dissolved by the president. But this is a matter that is still in court, and we will be looking and highlighting that story as it unfolds. On the question of the day, S. Kimenyi is saying lockdown with no change in behavior won't save us. We need to change our behavior, according to S. Kimenyi, because these numbers go down to how we behave as a group or even as an individual, even as a country. That's where it all starts. Now, civil society group have asked the government to withdraw the recent gazetted Huduma number rules until it fully addresses concerns of exclusion of stateless persons with biometric challenges and people with no identification documents. The regulations were published last week after about 9 months after the High Court stopped the implementation and centralization of digital register until a comprehensive regulatory framework is put in place to address the concerns of data privacy and exclusion.
Jamii yangu mpaka leo zaidi ya miaka 100 ina shida kupata vitambulisho. Hiyo ndio swala ambaye tumeambia serikali ya Uhuru Kenyatta iangazie, ione kwa nini inakandamiza, inadhulumu jamii ndogondogo kwa masuala ya kupata vitambulisho. Mpaka leo hii hawajafanya chochote, hawajafanya lolote. Tukienda masuala ya data protection, hata hatutazungumzia zaidi, manake kila mtu anajua data protection ni nini. Jamii ya Wakenya wengi sana hata hawaelewi data yenyewe ni nini. Serikali haijafanya kitu inayoitwa public participation kwa njia ya kisawasawa.
We still hold that what the High Court provided is regulatory framework. That includes a comprehensive legal framework and not rules and regulation, because in our view, the amendments of 2018 remain insufficient to guide a massive project like Huduma Number.
Well, Huduma Number, and I had and saw a clip of one elderly person who said to them they didn't know about Huduma Number. They went and collected a piece of paper, which they still have up to date. Anyway, let's wait and see how that unfolds too. Now, police officers today morning watched helplessly as a fracas ensued at the Nairobi Central Business District as rival groups clashed over the management of public toilets. A group from Starehe constituency claimed that they were being twisted to surrender the toilets by two groups from Isili and Dendora estates with the help of close allies to Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko. The Starehe constituency group has now called on the Nairobi Metropolitan Services boss, that is Major General Badi, to move with speed and rein on the cartels using political help of the governor to drive away legit group owning the utilities.
Sisi ndio tulikuwa wanzilishi wa hicho, na wao wanasema hicho ni hao walipewa na Governor Sonko, walitumia njia ya mkato wakapata zile barua ambazo ni fake. Na hicho kuna choo ilikuwa imetengewa walemavu, na walemavu watu walienda kule City Hall wakapata choo na barua ya walemavu, ili hali hakuna walemavu wako na choo.
Hauwezi toa watu tukiwa ndani, tuko na order na tuko na kila kitu. Na hii group imetoka Isri na Dadora. Na sisi watu tuko CBD. Sasa sisi tumeamua tufanye manasa kila kitu, lakini sisi tuko na imani na mtu anaitwa Badi.
All right, still brings us back now to the clashes that are between the county government of Nairobi and the NMS boss, that is Mike Mbuvi Sonko, the governor, and the NMS boss, Major General Badi. Well, the national assessment test for grade 4 and the class 8 pupils that was set to begin today have been postponed to Wednesday this week. The Kenya National Examination Council Chief Executive Officer Mercy Karogo said that the decision was informed by the Mashujaa Day celebrations that is slated for tomorrow. So this is to all the parents and also the pupils of the grade 4 and class 8 pupils. They were supposed to have an assessment test that was supposed to kick off today, but this has been postponed all the way to Wednesday. And they're saying this is because of the Mashujaa Day celebration that is supposed to take place tomorrow in Kisii Town Gusii Stadium. And talking about the celebration, they will only be allowing 3,000 people, only invited guests, 3,000 invited guests to attend the celebration. Now, on the question of today, this is D from Kiambu. And you're saying, Sarah, I don't blame fellow Kenyans for not trusting the government. I do not blame people of the USA and London for doubting how their own leaders, Trump and Boris Johnson, who are in the risky age bracket, got COVID and came back better than ever. But I will blame us when we cry for lockdown after a loved one of us dies of COVID. Whoa, very strong there. Thank you so much. This is Carol. And you're saying we should not, and not is in capital letters from Carol, we should not go on lockdown. Let's follow Ministry of Health guidelines with seriousness. That is very true. Thank you for that. Someone else, my name is Moses. I am tuned in today and loving the discussions. Asante sana. Thank you, Moses, for tuning in today. And I am waiting for your response on whether we should go back to a lockdown or even curfew hours should be increased a little bit because of the rising cases of COVID-19. Send me what you think about this topic. Now, the National Museum of Kenya has unveiled the country's folk Mashujaa. Now, this was done in a virtual event hosted at the National Museum of Kenya's YouTube page and also the Google Arts and Culture in collaboration with the National Museum of Kenya. This comes on the eve of Mashujaa Day celebration, a national holiday in which the country collectively honors all those who contributed towards the struggle of Kenya's independence or positively contribute to the post-independent Kenya. Now, the collective features 61 superheroes from Kenya's 44 communities, 30 of whom were added in the second phase of the project in 2020.
The creation of Kenya's cultural and folk legends as superheroes ignites the spirit of enduring renewal in the power of their presence in ancestral Kenya. It transcends time to bring us new age education on the identities, significance, impact and importance of real-life culture and folk heroes from all corners of our country. It's the embodiment of participatory culture, shared across communities with the sole purpose of celebrating the indelible richness of our community's real-life superheroes. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Kenya is the cradle of mankind. I don't think that there's any argumentation in that.
To other news, Haki Africa has called on indefinite postponement of the upcoming Msambweni constituency by-election, and the activist group is among the human rights defender groups called upon to observe elections in our country. In a press briefing earlier today, Executive Director Hussein Khalid raised concerns over the safety of members of the public who wish to attend the campaign rallies. Khalid attributed the recent rise of positive COVID-19 cases in the country, and more so in the coastal region, to the ongoing political gatherings.
And our concern, or rather our call, has been necessitated by the deteriorating COVID-19 pandemic situation in the country, which presently is referred to as the second wave. As an organization, we continue to see politicians irresponsibly violating the health regulations that have been set by the Health Ministry, which requires a maximum of only 200 people to attend gatherings. They violate these regulations.
All right, the Water Resource Management Authority has sounded an alert to those residing near Tarkwell Dam that due to the ongoing heavy rains in the Mount Elgon escarpment, the dam will spill anytime from next week. And according to the authorities, water in the dam has reached a dangerous level of 1,147.72 meters, which is 8.48 meters above the ever highest level reached. A high government delegation, including the Water Cabinet Secretary Cecil Kariuki and governors from Turkana and West Pokot counties, toured the area to sensitize members of the public on the impending danger.
Kutoa tahadhari kwamba hao wasingoje kuja kuambiwa ati mita imebaki mita nusu kama itafunja kesho. Kwa hivyo wakati wa kuhama hiyo area ni leo.
So that they are not only alert but are able to also make safety their first choice and best choice in a case like this.
So it is critical for the ministry responsible for regional development and the ministry responsible for ourselves to convene an urgent meeting now so that we can roll off a technical team to prepare and update the contingency plans and preparedness for this dam before it spills over.
Tumekuja tu kuangalia alafu tuangalie way forward starting today.
I expect that the engineers that constructed the Tarkwell Dam took care of that kind of scenario. If something happens, catastrophic happens, of course, we'll sue the engineers for short work.
Sai sasa mimi nimeshangaa sai maji imeingia katikati ya town ya Lodwar, itakuja kumaliza kabisa. Na ni watu gani watakuja kubaki akiongoza? Hiyo maji itakuja kumaliza hata wewe governor.
Well, this is a call to action for residents of Takwal. Around Takwal Dam, this is in Mount Elgon Escarpment, that this dam may be spilling over some water in the next week because of the heavy rains that are being experienced and expected across the country. And also, this is... if you know anyone around that area, it's also very nice and keen that we alert them of the impending danger. Now, to the responses that we have received today, this is Dixon, and you're saying, hey, Sarah, initially I was for the idea of lockdown till the leaders modeled rebellion to top it up when corona funds were misappropriated. The government has failed Kenyans from Huduma number, which was shoved down our throats only for it to be another heartbreak. Do I believe corona is there? Absolutely. We need integrity, transparency, and servant leaders, not the ones we currently have. Thank you for that. Zion, asante sana for tuning in today. I also have this one here. My name is Jude. I am tuning into the show and I like the stories. Thank you for keeping me up to date with what is happening in our country. Asante sana, Jude, for tuning in today and for sending in your response. Well, I also need to tell you that I am grateful to all the people that have partnered with Family Media. It's because of you that we are here today. And if you want to be a partner with Family Media, just send in the word partner to 20316 and we'll be getting back to you and telling you what partnership really entails and how you can help us keep Jesus on the airwaves. So thank you in advance. In the meantime, let's head over to some international news. And tens of thousands of Chileans gathered in the central square of Santiago to mark the one-year anniversary of mass protests that left more than 30 dead and thousands injured, with peaceful rallies on Sunday devolving the nightfall into the riots and looting. The demonstrations, which largely peacefully earlier on, were marred with increasing incidents of violence, looting, supermarkets and clashes with police across the capital later in that day. Fire trucks, sirens, binding of barricades of roadways and fireworks on downtown streets added to a sense of chaos in some of the neighborhoods.
Hundreds of thousands of demonstrators filled streets and plazas throughout Chile to mark the day 1 year ago when the country's social pressure cooker burst. There were dramatic performances alluding to human rights violations committed by police. But there was also music and celebration. Entire families had come to show that their resolve to fight for social equality remains strong.
Today marks the day that Chile awoke. We're fed up of the abuse, of always being marginalized. We're here to commemorate and say that we want a new Chile.
But the peaceful demonstration that so many had called for was not to be. Just 300 meters from the main gathering in Santiago, hooded vandals set fire to 2 churches. The first, known as the parish of Chile's police force. Then they torched another, regarded as a national heritage monument. By the time firefighters arrived, it was too late. Shops were also looted. The group had clearly come prepared to confront riot police and do as much damage as possible. Nearby, thousands of demonstrators continued calling for more equality and respect for human rights.
Well, that was a tough one in Chile with a lot of people being injured. Anyway, President Donald Trump and Democratic challenger Joe Biden have kicked off their final stretch of the elective season with campaign events in states they both hope to flip on the November 3rd. With just more than 2 weeks before the election, Trump began on Sunday in Nevada. Meanwhile, Biden, a practicing Catholic, attended Mass in Delaware before campaigning in North Carolina. Both candidates are trying to mark inroads in states that could help secure a path to victory.
He may be ahead in the polls, but Joe Biden isn't taking any chances, hammering home how much is hanging on the election to supporters in North Carolina.
The very soul of the nation is at stake. Folks,
As my coach used to say in college, it's go time. It's the most important election in our lifetimes.
Voter complacency could still derail him. In a crucial week which sees his final TV debate with Donald Trump, he's painting himself as a unifying force.
I'm running as a proud Democrat, but I will govern as an American president. No red states, no blue states, just the United States.
And I'm proud to be an American.
In Nevada, Donald Trump was also firing up the base, hoping for a flood of support on November the 3rd.
But on election day, you can send a message to the fake news media right there, to the big tech companies, and to the Washington swamp. But send them a message that they will never forget. Show them that the American people are still in charge by delivering Sleepy Joe Biden and the Democrats a thundering defeat on November 3rd.
And this week will likely see a victory for the president, with his Supreme Court pick, Amy Coney Barrett, expected to be approved by the Judiciary Committee on the same day Trump and Biden go head-to-head on TV. With just over 2 weeks to go, both campaigns are ramping up. Trump with a deluge of rallies, Barack Obama stepping up for Biden as the race for the White House intensifies.
Well, now this weekend, Facebook and Twitter have been receiving some criticism from some of the supporters for what they say is blocking misinformation about the campaigns. And these voters are saying this is denying them the information that they should be getting when it comes to the political state during this last stretch of the election in the U.S. Remember, the election is taking place on the November 3rd. That is just a couple of days away from today. Now, finally, this evening, a touching reunion. You know, they say even after 60 years, distance can still make the heart grow fonder. Now, after spending about 215 days apart, a husband and wife shared their very first hug since the pandemic began. His name is Joseph Flores, and his wife, Eve, had only been communicating through phone calls, but a few days ago, now the two were finally reunited with the assistance of their living facility in Brandon, Florida. Listen into this.
Tonight, the reunion, 215 days in the making.
All right, you ready?
80-year-old Joseph Flores is about to reunite with his wife, Eve, after 7 months apart. They've been married 60 years.
Somebody's waiting.
They both live at the Rose Castle at Delaney Creek Assisted Living Facility in Brandon, Florida. They were separated in March when Joseph had to undergo surgery and then rehabilitation. And because of the pandemic, they were not allowed to be in the same room until Joseph fully recovered. 215 days.
Miss Eve, I brought you somebody. Look at me, sis. Who's here? Who's here, Mama? Oh, my God. Who's here? Oh, look at him there, Mama. Look at him.
Miss you. Eve standing to hug her husband.
I love you.
Oh my, that is good news there. And from the clips, you can see the happiness and the tears of joy that they're both shedding after seeing each other after 215 days of being apart because of the pandemic. That is good news. Thank you so much for tuning in to the show today. My name is Sarah Otieno, and I wish you a peaceful and blessed week. See you tomorrow.
This and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs, from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.